Listen, I have been a combat evaluator for the Galactic Academy for 73 cycles now, and I thought I had seen everything. Every species, every fighting style, every possible configuration of limbs and teeth, and weird biological quirks that made my mandibles ache just thinking about them. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for the day they sent me a human. His name was Marcus Hall. Average height for a species, brownish hair, these unsettling forward-facing eyes that track you like a predator even when he was just standing there doing absolutely nothing. The intake forms listed him as physically unremarkable and cognitively standard for baseline human parameters. The threat assessment? Level 2. Level 2. That is the same rating we give to the Poffin, those fuzzy little guys who apologize when you step on them. I should have known something was wrong when he walked into my evaluation chamber. So, I said, tapping my data slate with one of my primary manipulators, Marcus Hall from Earth. Says here you want to enroll in our Advanced Combat Certification Program. That's right, he replied, and stars help me, he was smiling. Humans do that when they are happy, nervous, or about to do something monumentally stupid. Sometimes all three at once. The Academy has cleared you for standard admission. Non-training classification. Congratulations. I gestured toward the simulation pods lining the wall. We will start with basic reflex testing, then move to tactical scenarios, and if you perform adequately, we might let you observe some actual arena matches. Sounds fun, he said, still with that smile. Well, Mark, tactic, overwhelming force, crush the opponent before they can think. Marcus sidestepped at the last possible microsecond. Not early, when Kragath could adjust, but late, so late I thought impact was inevitable. Kragath sailed past him, already off balance, and the human was moving, not away but toward, closing the distance instead of creating it. What happened next took exactly 4 seconds. Marcus struck twice. Once at a joint in Kragath's knee, plating a spot I did not even know was vulnerable, and once at a nerve cluster just below his jaw ridge. Kragath went down like a collapsed building, twitching and completely immobilized. The arena fell silent. My mouth parts hung open. My assistant made a small whimpering sound. Is he okay? Marcus asked, genuinely concerned, looking up at the observation window. Yes. Medical nanites are already stabilizing him. I stammered. How did you? Anatomy briefing I read last night. Figured it might be useful. Last night. He learned Dulmer physiology last night, and just applied it to disable the champion fighter in 4 seconds. Next opponent, I said weakly. We sent 7 more fighters over the next 2 hours. Different species, different styles, different weight classes. A Kreen ambush specialist. A Voltari psychic combatant. 2 Theron twins who fought in perfect synchronization. Marcus Hall defeated every single one of them. Not just defeated. Disassembled. Methodically. Efficiently. Sometimes gently. Sometimes with sudden explosive violence that appeared from nowhere like a solar flare. By the 8th match, word had spread through the Academy like a radiation leak. Evaluators abandoned their posts. Instructors left mid-lecture. Even the cafeteria staff crowded against the arena viewing screens. Everyone wanted to see the Level 2 threat assessment, who was systematically dismantling our best fighters like they were training dummies. This is impossible, muttered Vorith, my supervisor, his scales shifting through colors that indicated extreme confusion. The psychological profile said he was non-aggressive. The physical assessment rated him below galactic combat standard. How is this happening? I watched Marcus reset his stance for the 9th time, facing a Zephyrite wind dancer who could move faster than most species could perceive. I said slowly, we may have misunderstood what humans consider threatening. The Zephyrite attacked in a blur of motion, her blade arms slicing air at velocities that created visible shock waves. Marcus tilted his head slightly, tracking her movement, then did something that made my brain hurt. He predicted where she would be, not where she was, and positioned himself in the exact spot that forced her to either collide with him or abort her strike pattern. She chose collision. Bad choice. He used her own momentum against her, redirecting 200 kilograms of velocity into a rotating throw that sent her tumbling across the arena floor. Before she could recover, he was there, one foot placed gently but very deliberately on her primary wing joint. Yield? He asked politely. She yielded. Okay, stop. Everyone stop. I activated the arena-wide announcement system. Marcus Hall, please report to the evaluation chamber immediately. He jogged over, still not breathing hard, still with that casual expression like he had just finished a light exercise routine instead of defeating 9 professional combatants in succession. Did I do something wrong? 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 My voice cracked into a frequency that made the viewing glass vibrate. You just demolished our entire ranking system. You humiliated fighters with decades of experience. You made our threat assessment look like it was written by concussed younglings. He had the audacity to look embarrassed. Sorry. Should I have gone easier on them? Vorith stepped forward, his diplomatic training finally overriding his shock. Human Marcus, please help us understand. Your species was evaluated as having average reflexes, standard cognitive processing, and limited natural weapons. Yet you fight like a Kreen assassin combined with a Theran strategist and somehow sprinkled with Dulmer brutality. Explain. Marcus scratched the back of his head, a gesture I had learned meant humans were thinking. Well, humans do not really have any single advantage, right? We are not the strongest or the fastest or the toughest. So we got really good at adapting, learning, using tools, including our own bodies as tools, and persistence. Persistence, I repeated flatly. Yeah, we are kind of famous for it back home. There's this thing called persistence hunting where we just chase prey until it collapses from exhaustion. We sweat, so we do not overheat like most animals. We just keep going and going. Our ancestors hunted mammoths by walking after them for days until the mammoth just gave up and died from stress. The room went very quiet. You hunted megafauna to death by being annoying, Vorith said, his voice hollow. I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds weird, but yeah, basically. I pulled up his file again, reading it with new eyes. Non-threatening. What even qualified as threatening to a species that evolved by outstubborning everything else on their planet? A species that looked at creatures 10 times their size and thought, you know what, I will just bother you until you die. The arena qualification, I said, making a decision that would probably end my career. You passed. Obviously. But I need to ask, and this is purely for research purposes, how many opponents could you handle simultaneously? That smile again. That dangerous, friendly, absolutely terrifying smile. Want to find out? 20 minutes later, Marcus stood in the center of the arena facing 5 opponents at once. Mixed species, mixed tactics, all trained professionals who had been briefed extensively on his capabilities. They surrounded him in a textbook encirclement formation, weapons ready, combat stances perfected through years of training. Begin. It lasted 90 seconds. 90 seconds of controlled chaos where Marcus moved like water, like electricity, like something that existed in the space between thought and action. He used their numbers against them, positioning himself so they blocked each other, forcing them to hesitate while he struck with surgical precision. When the last opponent fell, stunned but unharmed, the arena erupted in sounds I could not classify. Cheering? Horror? Existential dread? All of the above. Marcus helped each fighter to their feet, checking for injuries, apologizing for the rough treatment. So, Vorith said quietly beside me, what do we do now? I watched the human interact with beings whom moments ago he had systematically defeated, watching him laugh and exchange what appeared to be genuine combat advice with warriors twice his size. The threat assessment glowed on my data slate, mocking me with its level 2 classification. We reclassify the entire species, I said, and we add a new category to our threat matrix. Something beyond physical capability or tactical intelligence. What category? Adaptability with intent. They're not threatening until you give them a reason to be. Then they become the most threatening thing in the room. They study you, learn you, and dismantle you with the same friendly smile they used to greet you. Their polite apocalypses wrapped in skin. Marcus noticed us watching and waved cheerfully. I waved back, my manipulators trembling slightly. The Academy cleared the human as non-threatening. The arena taught us that humans redefine what threatening means. And somewhere in the administrative offices, I knew someone was already preparing new evaluation protocols. Because if there was one thing I learned that day, it was this: never, ever underestimate a species that conquered their planet not through strength, but through the sheer, stubborn refusal to quit. Especially when they smile at you. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.